Hi, it's Steve Major, MD Yogi. Hoping to talk to you today about something that I feel is really important, and that subject is be your best friend forever, or be your BFF. The topics I pick are topics that I speak to my patients about all the time. I'm a family physician who does a lot of counseling, and I'm hoping this topic resonates for you. I don't use a script. I'm just going to talk about this in a way that seems natural to me, and it comes from within an authentic place, and hopefully it resonates, as I said, for you. The important thing, if you're struggling right now, and I say this in most of my videos, that if you're struggling and you need some professional help, please go get that help. And if that's a friend, a family member, or if you're in crisis and need to speak to someone in a crisis line or emergency department, to make sure you do that. The topic about be your BFF really comes to me with the echo that I have for all my patients, that we all struggle with our relationship with ourselves. I think that's the most difficult relationship we have in our lives. It's not our relationship with our family or co-workers or friends. I think the difficulties that we have in most of our affairs in life stem from our difficulty with the relationship with ourselves. Now, that's a difficult relationship to actually mend, because we're so patterned from childhood into adulthood that we don't even think about what that means. So what I'm trying to nurture in these videos is an understanding that self-awareness and understanding yourself is the key to transformation, that we all are capable of some transformation to have what we want in our lives. So the relationship with ourself is that we've been patterned from a young age to feel inadequate, and I think all of us struggle about different things, whether it's something with our body, whether we feel that we don't look good in the mirror, or whether we don't like our body shape, how smart we are, or how apt we are at certain things. I think most people have certain things that they're quite good at, and then they struggle with other things. If you're athletic, maybe you struggle with your academics, and vice versa. If you're good at academics, maybe you struggle with athletics. And I think because of those struggles, we sometimes then are often very hard on ourselves. And that's a common thing that I have patients say to me is, I'm hardest on myself. I beat up on myself all the time. So the challenge I'm giving you is to rethink that relationship with yourself, to understand that if you have a healthy relationship with yourself and you mend that relationship, that ultimately that could be the transformation you need to have the life you have. Maybe you have everything that you really need in your life, but because you don't have a good relationship with yourself, you don't see it for what it is. I always use the analogy that taking care of yourself is like when you're on an airplane, and they always give the emergency talk, and they talk about the oxygen masks coming down. And when an oxygen mask comes down, if you're a parent and you have a child who's sitting next to you, that the first thing you do is put the mask on yourself, because if you pass out, the child can't put the mask on for themselves. So I think that analogy is very helpful for us to understand how we, if we take care of ourselves, that is essentially the best gift that we could give everybody in our life. If I take care of myself, nobody has to worry about me. My parents don't have to worry about me, my partner or friends, my family members, nobody has to worry about me. Steve's good, and so if Steve is good, then it makes it a lot easier for other people. So I think you can gift everybody in your life by making yourself a priority. And I think essentially, if you can make that yourself a priority, you'll see some improvement in your life. The best way to do that is, how do you talk to yourself? And I think most people talk to themselves in a negative way. Even myself, I've been very successful in my career and life, and there's times that still things that I've done and mistakes I've made in the past seem to come back and flash back to me, and I'm like, why did I do that, or why did I say that, and say I was so stupid to say that, or that was dumb, or I don't like the way I look in that picture, or my hair's all gray, I look old now. And so those things that I say to myself that are negative things, I go back to that if I was my best friend, a true best friend, not just a best friend in namesake, that a best friend would never say that to me. A best friend wouldn't say to me, you're dumb, you're ugly, you're fat, you're anything in a negative way. A best friend would be like, you know, you're lovely who you are, and you don't need to change. And a best friend would also say, you've got this. You're going to get through. If you're struggling, you're going to get through this. I think that simple talk that you can give to yourself anytime you're struggling, if you look in the mirror and say, I love me for who I am, because we all have our insecurities, and we all have some things and quirks that we're not happy about, but love yourself for who you are. If there's things that you want to change about yourself that are mutable, that are changeable, that certainly you can work towards changing them, but don't feel that you're changing them for anybody else in terms of a look or an appearance. If you have health problems and you're overweight and losing weight will help, well then that's a health reason. And I don't think losing weight because of a body image is the right reason. It should be health related, that you understand that if you need to make changes to who you are, that those changes are coming from a place that taking care of my meat suit, as I've discussed in a previous video, is what I need to do. So if you can think about in the future, anytime that you're struggling, anytime when you wake up in the morning, what do you say to yourself? Are you aware of the negative things you say to yourself, and start turning them around and say, I don't need to do that anymore. I need to be kind and compassionate to myself as if I was talking to my best friend forever. And I think if you cultivate that idea, and over time understand that it takes a while to break these habits that we have of beating up on ourselves and being negative to ourselves are really hard to break because they're entrenched. They're strong habits that we have, but like any habit, we can remake those habits. I don't think it's easy to break a habit, but just make a good habit instead of having a bad habit. So if your habit when you're stressed is to eat a bag of chips, maybe instead of being a good habit would be to change that to I'm gonna do 5 sit-ups, I'm gonna do 5 push-ups, I'm gonna go for a walk. So changing ourselves in our habits sometimes comes to those kinds of making a change that's a positive change. So in the understanding that I have of what it is to have a good relationship with ourselves, work towards a place where you have a good relationship in loving yourself, accepting yourself for who you are, looking to change the things that you want to change and that are not being changed for exterior reasons rather than health reasons. And understand that if you can be kind to yourself, compassionate to yourself, that may be something that can change your relationship with self, and then through that mending of your relationship, help everybody in your life. As I've said to you, if you are in the best place you can be for yourself, that's the best gift you can give to everybody in your life, everybody who loves you and who cares about you. So whatever habits you have, just try to be aware of them and try to change those negative habits so that you start saying to yourself, you got this. Whatever experience I've had, whatever difficulties I have, has given me the resilience that whatever life throws at me, I can deal with it. And in that place of being your best friend forever, I think that you can have the best life that you want, the life that can exist for all of us. So I'm going to do a dance now. I'm just going to tune out because I gotta do it on a separate way. But the dance and the song is going to be in reference to this, so I hope you like it. I'm going to be doing these videos hopefully on a weekly or bi-weekly basis. So subscribe if you do like them, and if you have any comments, I'm happy to take any feedback. And remember, as I always say, you got this. Take care. So the song I'm going to do is by Jess Glynn. Don't be so hard on yourself. If it's a bit too loud, turn down the volume. hard on yourself, but just glint.